How can South Carolina go about surpassing or even meeting expectations in 2023? Now, let's be fair. Shane Beamer only been there 2 years, and in back-to-back seasons, they have done just that, surpassed expectations. So each year for South Carolina, the bar just continues to go up. They won 8 games a season ago. There's no win total out right now in Vegas, as hard as you look. My personal feel, my own expectations I'd set for South Carolina, let's put it right around 9-10 wins. Okay, that feels fair. You won 8 wins last year. 9-10 wins this coming year. That'd be progress. And also, you're playing in the SEC, so it's a gauntlet of a schedule to begin with. But how would that happen? How would they be able to take that next step under Shane Beamer? I don't think it's any secret, but Spencer Rattler's progress is very much so paralleled with the progress of South Carolina. He has to take that next step in order for South Carolina to take that next step. So you want to see him take better care of the football. You want to see him throw more touchdowns. You want to see the light bulb kind of go on for him like it did against Tennessee, like it did against Clemson. Like you want to see that kind of Spencer Rattler. But how would that go about happening? Because it's lazy to just say, hey, Spencer Rattler, you got to be better. I promise you, Spencer Rattler, who I'm sure tunes in pretty frequently, he's probably sitting here saying, I know. That's why I came back. I came back to be better. I came back to improve my draft stock. I have some boxes that I have left unchecked. I understand that. Okay, so that's one piece, but let's unpack that a little bit more. How would Spencer Rattler go about having a better year? The quarterback position, there's a lot on your shoulders, but there's also a lot dependent on the pieces around you. And Juice Wells, y'all, you and I both know, he has a very good chance to, I think, be close to a first-round draft pick when it's his time to go to the league. He was the surprise of the SEC for a lot of people last season, obviously transferring from JMU. He put up road to glory numbers against Tennessee, against Clemson, those last 2 games of the year where they were just absolutely doing whatever they wanted. He's still scoring touchdowns. What I want to make sure we talk about, though, with this conversation is with Juice Wells being your clear-cut go-to guy, you're feeding him the rock, Baby Gerber style, just force-feeding him the rock. But what happens when a defense takes him away? Well, you got to have other pieces step up, and that's what I want to talk about with Spencer Rattler progressing. We have to have options in the pass game. So who is that needs to step up? I think Arkansas transfer Trey Knox is one guy we got to take a close look at. Big body, good athlete, runs well after the catch, had a touchdown in the spring game. I'm excited about what he could bring to this offense. Xavier Leggett, a 5th-year guy. He's someone we got to keep an eye on to see if he can maybe pop. And you don't have to put up equal statistics to Juice Wells. You just got to be a strong counterpunch when Juice Wells gets double covered, as I expect him to be a lot of the year. If you can only do one thing well, you only have one receiver to throw to, you're pretty limited. Like just as a rule of thumb in life, if you can only do one thing well, your ceiling is substantially lower. Okay, if I can only talk about one team on this show, if I can only tell you about the South Carolina Gamecocks, South Carolina fans, y'all would love it, and we'd have a ton of y'all at the party, but you and I both know this channel would be limited. Same thing with South Carolina's offense and with their pass game. Now, speaking of Gamecock fans, we appreciate all y'all that have locked in with us throughout the duration of this past season and into this offseason and spring ball. Like, we love y'all. If you haven't yet joined the party and subscribed, now is the time. Okay, lock it in. Also, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at JDPiquel. So in addition to that, the run game's got to be able to progress in order to help Spencer Rattler. Because if we can just crowd the box, or excuse me, if we don't have to worry about the box, we don't have to worry about you running the football, as a defense, that makes our job a lot easier. As a quarterback, that makes your job a lot harder. Needless to say. Now, to take a deeper look at that, Dow Loggins coming from the NFL, it's going to be a complementary style of offense. So, meaning we are able to do one thing as well as we do the other thing. The run game is going to set up the pass. When we throw the ball well, we're going to be able to run the ball well. Okay? So when we look at what they did a season ago, you look at all the losses for South Carolina, Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, Missouri. The losses for South Carolina were when they ran for less than 100 yards. And to be honest with you, it wasn't like they weren't still putting up points. Put up 30-plus against Notre Dame, ran for less than 100 yards. Put up 30 points or so against Arkansas, lost that game. So the offense can still be humming. You ask a lot of Spencer Rattler because that's what you're going to do, quite frankly, because he's your quarterback coming back and you expect big things from him. But if you're not able to run the football, same thing I was talking about with having diverse options in the pass game. You're limited. So you're going to ask a lot of Juju McDowell. wearing the number 0 this year. You're going to ask a lot of Dak Joyner, who's kind of made that transition to being a true running back. He's still listed on the roster as a wide receiver. He can help you there as well, but I expect him to be in the backfield more than he is split out. Okay? So that's the big piece for the offense. Having options around Spencer Rattler, not putting it all on his shoulders, having improved play around him will only elevate his game. It's a complementary style of offense from the NFL system. That's going to be how they got to play this coming season. Now, listen, here's the other piece of this. For South Carolina to surpass expectations, which, again, I've pegged right around 9 wins, got to be better against the run. I was just talking about running the football offensively. You got to be better in the trenches defensively. You lost some guys to the portal. I'll be interested to see what South Carolina does here in the second portal window on the defensive line. But you look at what they did last year statistically, gave up right around 200 yards a game. And there were some games where they weren't great against the run and the offense found a way to overcome it. The culture, I believe, found a way to overcome it. But that's not a recipe for taking the next step. What was good enough last year won't be good enough this coming season for Shane Beamer and company. He said it when he came on this show. Fired me up. We're not anybody's story. We're not anybody's good story anymore. We're not a feel-good story. We're here to win ball games. And a part of winning ball games next season, they got to play teams like Georgia, at Tennessee, at Texas A&M. They play Clemson, was Will Shipley, one of the best backs in the country. Like, these are physical teams in the trenches. Yes, even Texas A&M. I think they'll take a step forward than what they were a season ago. These teams are going to make a point to run the football. And this is the price of admission in the SEC. If you can't stop the run consistently, we're going to have a hard time getting to where we want to go. Which, again, at South Carolina, the bar has been ratcheted up. 8 wins this coming season. It'd be nice. It'd be cool to kind of have that 2 years in a row winning 8 games. But South Carolina, Spencer Rattler didn't come back to win 8 games. Juice Wells didn't come back to win 8 games. Okay? So that's the other thing I want to make sure we talk about with this team as a whole. Going into year 3, Shane Beamer and company, they've done a lot to push this operation, push this program up the hill. Because when he got there, it wasn't a winning operation, to be honest with you. They had a lot of things internally. They had to reestablish some confidence. They had to get some personnel. They've pushed this rock up the hill. Does it look like that in year 3? From a culture perspective, from a consistency perspective? It's no more of, oh, here comes South Carolina. They're going to sneak up on us. I want to see the approach that we saw at the end of November. Because they were a different team. I keep going back to those 2 games because they were extremely impressive wins. 2 top 10 wins in back-to-back weeks. I'll be the first to say it. I was wrong. I picked them to lose both and wore a sheepish grin both Sundays. We went in and talked about South Carolina having a double-digit underdog approach and then winning the game. So in year 3, what I want to see is there that confidence? Is there that approach? Is there that consistency to where week in and week out, we know what we're getting from South Carolina? I think that's the sign of a mature football team. Not being up 1 week, down 1 week, one version of Spencer Rattler 1 week, he's accurate. The next week, he's throwing the ball over the yard and he's inaccurate. 1 week, our offense is able to move the football, running the ball. The next week, we're not. Like, consistency, I think, is the next step for South Carolina. And in year 3, they've built to it. It's about time. So I'm excited for South Carolina. We'll predict their record, as you know that we do here. We'll predict what South Carolina is going to be in the future when that time comes. So make sure you're subscribed right here. But I'm telling you what, man, Shane Beamer has got that thing rolling, and there's a lot to be excited about in Columbia, both on the field and on the recruiting trail. We'll talk about that another time. Make sure you're locked in here. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram, man. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Nick Break, Lifting Heavy. This is your show. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.